Welcome back, everyone. The more I play with these older phones, as you guys know, the more I start loving them again. And I was going through a pile of phones and I saw the Galaxy S7 again, and I'm like, dude, this phone is still a great pickup in 2020, I think, for some people, but I think the phone itself is a really good phone. And I got reminded of it again when I went onto the subreddit of Android, and I saw this phone actually got another security update just a couple of days ago, and that's actually really insane. The fact that this phone, an Android phone at that, came out 2016, but it's still getting software updates, or more specifically security updates to this day, which is really impressive. And it's not every Android phone that came out at that time is still even being supported in any way. So I have some respect for Samsung for doing that, and I wanted to kind of come back and say, I think the S7 brought a lot to the table at that time, and I think it's still held up pretty well throughout the time that it's been out. And there are still some phones that came out in 2016 that don't really feel that good, that aren't really that premium anymore. But this phone really, yeah, the bezels have gotten smaller in phones, but really other than that, the phone is still there in my opinion. So the security updates was one of the reasons why I saw that, but then I started thinking about the price tag too, and I'm like, dude, for the materials that you're getting in this phone, the build quality of this phone, the price is like one of those things that is just so hard to beat. And for about like $80, sometimes even less than that, you can pick up a Samsung Galaxy S7, and that is a pretty cheap price. Now, I'll be honest, I would still probably recommend picking up a Samsung Galaxy S8 at the bare minimum, just because that phone will kind of future-proof you a little bit more. And I'll leave an S7 and an S8 link down below if you want to pick it up, but I would recommend the S8 more. But like I said, the build quality of this thing is still great, and when you turn it on for the first time, I think you guys were all there when you guys booted up a Samsung Galaxy S7. The screen is still top tier. We have a 1440p panel on it, and don't even worry about the size. The size, the phone itself feels like a pretty good size, even though there is quite a bit of bezel on it. That screen was something that just looks so good, and I compared it recently to the Galaxy S20, and to me, sometimes, I'm not really too sure why, my Galaxy S7 screen just looked a little bit better. Maybe it was a little bit sharper than the Galaxy S20. However, the Galaxy S20 obviously has all those cool features and everything, and when I compare them side by side, obviously the S20 blew the S7 out of the water pretty much in every single way, but the S7 still kind of surprised me, and I'm still not really too sure why the Galaxy S7's panel looked better to me. Of course, it doesn't have that 120Hz refresh rate, but that was something that was still pretty surprising to me. So the screen on it is still pretty good, even though it does have some burn-in on it. I'm not really freaking out about it too much. This is not my everyday phone, so I don't really have any reason to be freaking out about it. But when you still feel this phone in the hand and you're still messing with it, it still feels like a very good phone without a doubt. And when you turn it around, you get that all glass back as well. You have that micro SD card slot, which is awesome. You have that headphone jack, but you also have that camera sensor up top, which is really decent. Even though it's a single camera setup, it still takes pretty decent photos at the end of the day. And even though this isn't a camera review or anything, I will say that the camera on this system is still pretty decent for a majority of people, I'm sure, who are going to be utilizing a camera in their everyday lives. And also this thing, if you drop it in water or anything, it still has IP certification. So if you go and dip it in water by accident, you can go and retrieve it. And for a 2016 phone, that's still a pretty decent thing. There's still some phones now that don't even have any IP certification, which is pretty insane. But this phone does have it, which is really cool. And the battery life on this phone is still pretty okay for the most part. It'll probably get you through a day. It does take that micro USB port, not USB Type-C, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be freaking out about it too much. I think for a majority of people, for getting a phone that will get you from point A to point B, I think it'll definitely get you there. I will say, if you're currently using this phone, I think you can get a little bit longer lifespan out of it, and if you have the Exynos version of the Samsung Galaxy S7, you're easily able to root it and ROM it, and I would recommend doing those things. You're able to install so many different ROMs. I think there's an Android 10 ROM out for the Exynos versions of the Galaxy S7, which will completely make this thing worth it, I think, for the time being, especially if you're trying to wait for the Galaxy S20 prices to go down a little bit more. Getting or keeping your Galaxy S7 will definitely, that phone will definitely lose less value over time than a Galaxy S20. Those are still selling for like $799, which is pretty impressive. It's already gone down for like $200. So that's the way I would recommend doing it. But like I said, if you want a phone that'll last you, for like a year or two, the S7 might get you there, but I do think a Galaxy S8 will definitely, be able to maintain that a little bit more. So that's why I still think the Samsung Galaxy S7 as a phone is still great in 2020. I don't know if it's like the best phone or even the best price per value phone for you to use right now, but I do appreciate what it brought to the table. And if you have that Exynos version, I think you can still use that for a while, especially if you root it and custom ROM it. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.